To give you a bit of backstory, I'm my husband's second wife. He has two kids, older teens from his previous marriage, who live with us permanently. They only see their biological mother for 1 to 2 months during the summer when they're out of school. We've been married for 10 years, and the kids have been with us the whole time. During our marriage, she missed more birthdays than she remembered. The same goes for Christmas and other holidays. No gifts, no calls, no cards. In the past couple of years of our marriage, she suddenly decided she wants to be more involved with their lives. I'm talking about randomly showing up to our house to pick them up with no word to us beforehand. I've been reminded more than once by my in-laws that the kids have a mother, which is hurtful but true. I shouldn't make such a big deal when she comes around. I don't want to make a fuss, but we've asked her to let us know in advance so we can arrange something. She's never shown us the courtesy of calling and has been upset more than once because we had already made plans. She has other children who have disabilities, and from what the children have told us, she makes them watch them when they're there. Her house has her rules, I suppose, but I feel like she's using them for free childcare. Not to mention, the children are cold towards us when they return home. Now to the issue at hand. Recently, my siblings had their 23andMe done, and we found out we had some pretty cool ancestors. Once I found out the news, I mentioned to my in-laws that it would be fun to do it as a family, meaning my husband and all the kids, and see what all our genetic makeups look like. I was immediately shot down. I believe the exact words were, "I wouldn't do that if I were you. This situation might end badly." So now here I sit, wondering what she meant by that. Since then, I've been wondering if my mother-in-law was referring to the kids from the previous relationship, because there's absolutely no doubt about the others we've had together. I've asked him what he thinks, and he seems reluctant to do so, as there have been whispers about their parentage in the past. So I'm wondering, am I the idiot for trying to encourage my husband to get a paternity test? That's irrelevant, since he doesn't want to stop being their dad. Your problem has a simple solution. When the ex-wife comes over to pick up the teenagers for free labor, just say no. If she wants custody, she can go to court and ask for a schedule she must stick to, which she likely won't get, because at their age, courts likely won't make them stay with her against their will. OP told the in-laws it could have nothing to do with the kids. It could be the husband with questionable parentage. It could be the mother-in-law who cheated. It could also be that the kids aren't his exes. There's a lot of room for drama without the kids being not his. This is how my mom found out her dad wasn't her real dad. My poppy, mom's dad, was not actually my oldest aunt and mother's father. Now it makes a lot of sense why the youngest aunt stole the inheritance when Poppy passed. She knew when we didn't. Poppy apparently thought we would be ashamed to know he wasn't dad or grandpa. I honestly wept when I heard that. Not once would I ever thought of my Poppy as anything but the man that I want to be when I fully grow up. Exactly. Dad may not be the husband's dad. OP's husband could be the mailman's son, or his dad has more kids floating around the countryside. The 60s through the 90s were wild. Leave it alone until the youngest of your bonus kids is 18. There are obviously concerns from somewhere in the family tree. Your in-laws have a can of worms that they don't want to be uncovered. The children might be a cover story for their reasons. Let the kids have stability, at least until they don't legally need a parent to live with. If you continue, you will be the idiot. Take the no and leave it alone for several years. So here's the deal. I, 27 male, was in a relationship with my girlfriend, 25 female, for about 2 years. I thought things were going well until I found out she cheated on me with some loser from her workplace. Honestly, this guy isn't even in my league. Like, I'm not trying to sound arrogant, but I put in the effort, got a decent job, work out, and I'm not a complete mess. When I confronted her about it, she broke down and claimed it was a one-time mistake. But I mean, come on, who does that? She said it was a moment of weakness and begs for forgiveness. I was furious, but for some reason, I let her talk me into going to couples therapy. Fast forward a few weeks and I thought maybe we could work things out. But every time we had a session, she would bring up how I need to communicate better or be more romantic. Seriously? The whole time I'm sitting there thinking, you cheated on me and I'm the one who needs to change? Last week she came to me in tears, saying she couldn't find her job fulfilling and she wanted to quit and pursue some vague dream of being an artist. Honestly, that sounded like a load of crap. She's not talented, and I don't want to support her while she flounders around. So I told her, "You want to quit your job? Fine, but I'm not paying your bills if you do." She exploded, saying I was being unsupportive and selfish. I told her that after she cheated, I owe her nothing. Now she's sulking and acting like I'm the villain here. Am I the idiot for refusing to help her after everything? I feel like I'm standing up for myself, but maybe I'm just bitter about the cheating. And you're still with her because? Come on, man, she cheated on you with the loser, gaslighted you, still tries to make you the villain of this story, and you lost the trust and respect you once had for her. Do yourself a favor and dump her. Move on and find a more compatible, loyal, and less unhinged girl than this one. There are 4 billion women in this world. I'm pretty sure you can do better than a cheating, lazy witch. LMAO, you are the idiot for being a cuck and staying with her. What a moron. Why are you still with her? You do know that there's a huge possibility that she cheated more than once, right? I guess you like getting sloppy seconds. Find someone who doesn't have these moments of weakness. Really, I can't understand. You're a lucky man. You dodged a bullet. She's not worthy of a second glance. Her problems aren't yours. My now ex-boyfriend proposed 4 days ago. Let's call him Tim. Tim and I have been together for 2 years. We talked about marriage. We're both 26 and kids, etc. Until last week, I thought I had the perfect love life. Now Tim has his best friend, Mimi, fake name. Tim also has a friend group he's very close to. The problem throughout our relationship was that Tim would place me last whenever his friends were involved. He missed a promotion dinner for my work because Mimi's dog was throwing up. He missed Diwali celebrations with my family because his friends wanted him to help them paint their new house. Plus, some issues during his teenage years involving his friends resulted in his dad threatening to take away his inheritance and distribute it to relatives. For context, his dad introduced us. Until last year, before I left the company, which I joined straight after college, his dad was my boss. I still see him as a father figure and respect him a lot. I've told Tim that I don't like public proposals. I'm very introverted, and having eyes on me during a loving moment will only cause me anxiety. Tim said he understood and promised he wouldn't do one when he proposed. Another thing I told Tim was that Mimi treats me passive-aggressively because I'm kind of an anxious person. I have mild OCD, and I asked him not to involve her in our affairs. Tim said Mimi only wants the best for us. I didn't press the issue after he got defensive. Thursday, after I entered my flat, I was greeted by all of Tim's friends, with Tim in a suit and a ring in hand. I kid you not, my flat was swarmed. There were people I didn't even know. Before Tim even said anything, Mimi chimed in and said, "Chill, OP, dear God, this is not the time to make that face." I saw red. I was having a severe anxiety attack, as I don't do well with lots of people. I calmly told them there would be no proposal and to just get out of my flat. They looked like in shock, so I just left my flat with just my purse, called my best friend on the way, and told her to get them out, and just called a car service and sat in a car crying for 2 hours, and went to my cabin I bought. I texted my parents so they wouldn't worry. I told them not to take Tim's calls, switched off my phone, and stayed there. Luckily, I had enough cash to make a grocery run and the cabin was used last month. I only turned my phone on when calling a car and saw the barrage of calls and texts. I called Tim in the car, and he sounded defeated and kept on apologizing and crying. I told him it was over. Turns out my best friend told his dad, who was so mad, he told him that he'd only get half his inheritance. I now feel that I reacted very badly and could have handled it with grace. I might have let my anxiety take over and overreacted, and I cost him his money. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. The public proposal itself is the very least of your worries here, I'd say. It's not really about that, but about the fact that he completely disregarded your wishes and boundaries. He was disrespectful, inconsiderate, and very selfish. One good thing is that you found out and made the decision now, rather than after you were married. He humiliated himself, and any further consequence he might face is 100% on him. You were loud and clear about your wishes and boundaries. Thank him for sparing you the trouble of going through a divorce, and then go and live your best life on your terms, however you feel most comfortable. Also, were your friends there? You had to call your parents and your best friend? So this dipwad plans a public proposal against your direct instruction, and only includes his own friends, to the point of inviting people you don't know? He doesn't care about you. He cares about his own optics. Don't go back to him, OP, please. This won't change. Bullet dodged. His father came in on your side, but I don't like the way he uses the threat of disinheritance to keep his son in line. If you married into that family, you would be on the pointy end of that behavior. It seems all well and good when his father does it and takes your side, but his father wouldn't always be on your side. Walking away was the right move. My 36 female daughter's young teen birthday was last weekend. This trampoline park in town offers sleepover parties where the kids can play for a few hours, watch a movie, and have a sleepover on one of the trampolines. Her school's very small, so there are only about 20 students in her entire year. When we were booking the event, she said to only book 19 places. I asked her if she was sure she wasn't missing out on someone, but she assured me there were only 19 kids in her class, and I was just misremembering. Fast forward to her birthday, and this girl, Camilla, shows up with an entire box full of gifts. Teddy bears, perfume, candles, nail polish, flowers, chocolates, etc. I remembered picking up my daughter from school at the beginning of the school year and seeing her chatting and being very friendly with Camilla, so I assumed they were quite good friends. When Camilla went up to hug my daughter and wish her a happy birthday, she lightly pushed her away and told Camilla she couldn't attend as we forgot to book her place. I apologized to Camilla and her mother and offered to talk to the people in charge and pay for her place, but my daughter insisted that Camilla couldn't come. Camilla was very distraught over this and started sobbing. I pulled my daughter aside and asked her why Camilla couldn't join, even though they used to be friendly, and she'd invited every other student in her year. She said that Camilla was just really weird, obsessive, and creepy, and she didn't want to be friends with her anymore. I asked her if Camilla was bullying her, and she said no, she just didn't want to be around Camilla. Camilla's mother found out about the party from another parent. Camilla decided to surprise my daughter, knowing she hadn't been invited. I returned the gifts to Camilla, apologized again, and gently told her there wasn't enough space. Her mother started screaming at me, telling me that I was a grown adult woman bullying a preteen girl. I told her that it was my daughter's birthday party, and she could invite whoever she wanted. She accused me of raising my daughter to be a bully, and that she couldn't just invite the entire class and exclude one girl. She claimed that Camilla was my daughter's best friend, and that she had the right to be invited. I told her that my daughter's a teenager, not a kindergartner, and she can't be forced to invite the entire class just to be nice. I said I didn't want to raise a doormat. I didn't want to teach her to value the feelings of others at the expense of her own. If my daughter feels uncomfortable around someone, then I prioritize her well-being over that of a stranger. Camilla's stranger mother is now talking to the teachers to punish my daughter for bullying. I've tried to explain to her that my daughter was simply setting boundaries, and she shouldn't have to face consequences for that. Camilla's mother said that I was an evil bee who took joy in bullying little girls. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. The real issue here is that your daughter lied to you about the class size so she could exclude this one person. Camilla may make your daughter uncomfortable, but it's also possible that your daughter's being unnecessarily mean. With teenagers, it could go either way. You should go to the school and find out what's going on. You have no way of knowing if your daughter actually is being a bully until you find out for yourself. If she is bullying your Camilla, you need to know so you can correct the behavior. Don't be so quick to believe your daughter's innocent here. Someone told Camilla she could come to this party. Ask yourself this question: how did Camilla know where and when the party started? When you're trying to fall asleep tonight, you should think of this situation and imagine you're a young teen, excited to be going to a classmate's birthday party, selecting and bringing all the great gifts, only to be turned away in front of all your classmates because the birthday girl doesn't like you. Experiences like this stick with a person for life, and you should be ashamed of yourself. I will be in the minority here, but not the idiot. Kids calling someone weird in that context is like an adult calling someone creepy. The person makes you uncomfortable. To be honest, showing up to a party uninvited with that many gifts is weird behavior for a child and creepy in an adult. If Camilla won't pick up on social cues to leave your daughter alone, I can see why your daughter, who's too young to really have the tools to deal with that, doesn't want to be around her. And her telling her mother that your daughter's her best friend, when she's clearly not, just confirms your daughter's opinion. Camilla needs someone to help her work on her social skills, not to insist everyone put up with her. That's not going to help her as an adult. I have 2 daughters, Lexi teen and Kelly teen. Everyone in our family adores Lexi. She's beautiful, smart, and talented. But most importantly, she puts a lot of effort into her relationships with people. If her aunt or one of her uncles has an emergency, she's there to babysit their kids for free. If they're sick, she's cooking a meal and bringing it to them. Because of this, my family usually spoils her for every occasion. They love Kelly too, but they're not as close to her. A few months ago, for Kelly's birthday, her aunt and uncle gave her a bag, a shirt, and a skateboard, all of which she's interested in. I also gave her an iPad. Lexi's birthday is in a few weeks, and my siblings have all called me to tell me what they're planning to buy for her and ask if it's okay. They're buying a PS5, a Sephora makeup kit, and a necklace. Well, today, Kelly asked me what I was planning to buy for Lexi, and I told her it was the same iPad I had bought for her. She started yelling at me that this was not fair. Lexi's already getting a lot of expensive gifts, and it's only fair if I give her a cheap gift. I told her there was no way I was going to show favoritism here. Her sister's getting an iPad too, and that's the end of our discussion. She called me an idiot and a jerk, and I told her if she said one more word, she would no longer have an iPad. Now she won't talk to me at all. Am I the idiot for refusing to show favoritism? I have 2 daughters. Lexi's beautiful and smart and talented. What about Kelly's traits? You mentioned her as some sort of footnote in your post. You're already showing so much favoritism in the first 2 sentences, and it's quite sickening. Yes, lady, you are the idiot, and a massive one. One is beautiful, smart, and talented. The other one is named Kelly, and I yell at her whenever she calls me out for my favoritism. OP, repeat this back to yourself 3 times in the morning and 3 times at night every day until it finally drills into the desiccated poo you have in place of your brain's empathy center. The beautiful part especially stood out to me. Like, why even mention that? So, what, you think one of your daughters is ugly and therefore less deserving of presents? WTF. Worst, your own child tried to talk to you about how upset she was, and you punished her for sharing her feelings. Parent of the year for sure. Gross, you are the idiot. Try to remember your least favorite daughter not being enough of a socialite to deserve the love of your relatives is your fault. You raised her to be the person she is, and you're claiming she's entitled.